have to randomly have to restart my whole phone. Good afternoon, everyone. Alright, today's sunset. It's 8:36 p.m., 7:36 p.m. on Standard Time. Sunrise today, 6:08 a.m., 5:08 a.m. on Standard Time. So, I also gotta make sure my videos are coming out. So we have everything scheduled up to when sure we have a video scheduled up and ready to go because I am releasing videos essentially on the fly. Just to why I pre-recorded. So I pre-recorded some of these videos. Yeah. Because I'm going to be in Nova Scotia. We have videos that are already backed up through the channel through August 16th. So this is my last start a little early today. Because Turkey is going to be here for another while. If we have time, we can talk for an hour or two. And if he decides that he's going to join, and I might have some people on panel. The other friend would be Mohammed. Turkey might join us at some point, and even Turkey may try to join us at some point. But maybe I should tell Mohammed that, hey, but Mohammed, he doesn't really come on my channel anymore. Why I started talking to people like Turkey, Nicky, and start coming on the food board. I might have people on panel later, but right now we're kind of gonna stream on our own until eventually when Tricky goes live, we're gonna end it. I think and it's not too hot, but I don't have my water with me. One of the hot. Yeah, I'm gonna be going to Nova Scotia and tell people that this is likely going to be my last outside stream for a while because we're not going to be streaming in Nova Scotia. And I think we might know if we're going to do a time-lapse video or not, so we might be legit taking a serious break from video and probably take some time away from the video but I mean, if I can honestly get a takedown, and I can honestly get is I do not want to end up in a similar position to Chris, and we lose everything. I'm not willing to go down that path with Chris, so oh, I'm in I'm in Evanston, New Brunswick. I think probably next week on the Friday we're gonna be back. But where was that? But we head up to Utah. Uh, I think the next outside stream will be August 16th, and then August 23rd, and then August 30th for the CNE, and then we'll be going to the CNE for a while, and then I think we can try time it all at the same day. Go at the same day. I'm feeling no other than by Dylan himself, but this is going to be my last outside stream before I leave for Nova Scotia, because I am really hoping that this, but it's not hard enough where, but he doesn't even, but with the whole COVID thing and the whole situation that we were in, we may have been talking about doing this 5 years ago. Oh, I feel like, but then when COVID hit, we were all under lockdown. So I can't record time-lapse videos when I'm down in Nova Scotia. That's the dilemma I have with the channel, because of the expectations that people are saying to give up and move on, or could this be that wind up in the hands of it went to the foundation? I'm wondering if we may be facing the real possibility here that if no warning and shows no change, they might be, and they're saying that if not, then there are going to be really serious changes. And they're saying that if not, then we're going to be making really serious changes to the editing privileges after this, because of this incident. Warning you is that if not, then there are going to be really serious changes when you put in the way you're allowed to edit after this. A lot of people said they wanted to go for a full indefinite on us. And finally slammed the nail on the coffin against us to say, you know what? You are never getting unbanned, and you disrespected a lot of admins to a point where this is now potentially, you could be facing the real possibility of that he could be in the hands. Like, we're in a rut. We are in a bad way. We are losing. And that's why I think we have completely lost the account. So when you've gone too far, yeah, you need to come to the realization though that there are privileges and people could start to lose privileges for that kind of stuff. And committing harassment is not going to help any of the issues either. That's potentially putting the community more and more in favor of a foundation ban could be more likely on the horizon. Could be the most likely scenario on the horizon if things do not change. And they're saying that if not, then there are going to be very serious changes to the rule after this. And they're telling me, they're warning us that, and they're saying you must move on from Wikipedia, and if not, then there are going to be very serious changes to the rules about your editing privileges after this. Like, you understand? And do you understand that you might be facing a real thing after years of blocks? So, and there are going to likely be very serious people that might step in with your efforts and say, I can't yet move on, it's not budging, and I think we might need foundation intervention. Send a message to the block, but at least send a message that we are not agreeing to consider even the foundation ban being the so, and that's where I think it could end, actually. If not, then you are facing the real possibility of Andrew blocking us. And if Andrew doesn't listen, and the foundation steps in, and we're not willing to let you edit, and the foundation steps in, we are playing such a Russian roulette. Like, like, this is the worst incident we've had in our time since. This, I think, was probably the worst incident that I've gotten into since I started doing this, because this was this was worse than the past incident. It looked like it was very clear that they were sending a message that if you do not listen, and you're saying that if not, and I don't know if he's willing to go that far to it, but if we had threatened any serious things, they could actually take it to law, take this to the attention of the foundation. If any evidence of off-wiki harassment and stuff, this was honestly the first time in any of these news reports or any of these discussions where they've actually discussed mauling to get the foundation involved. To take the Wikimedia Foundation or the ArtCon or the arbitration for the foundation had to be stepping in. Maybe alerting that the foundation might want to get involved if that's the case. And hey, so but yeah, what are you doing? What are you doing here? I've seen you in a while. I've seen you in a while here. Well, I think this is kind of feels like it's come down to a lot of things, and that's because I'm not going to be. I haven't really been doing anything since 2023. I think by the time it was up, I don't know. It's 2025, and I'm going to be in Nova Scotia for at least for a week, and then I'm going to be back August 15th, and then I'm going to be doing a lot of plans coming up. for the end of the year, before year's end, I'm gonna be doing Santa Claus Parade stream on November 22nd, which would be 10 a.m. I'm gonna be doing that again, and depending if Jeff it might even depend if Jeff decides that maybe he might title. We're gonna do the same thing like we did last year in 2025, except we're gonna use this time. I'm not gonna be at Pioneer anymore, but we only have 1 week left, and then these camps after this week, we have this week and next week, and I think these camps should be gone, and meaning that we can start feeling a lot more comfortable staying up here. It may not matter because there are campers around here, but one, because of all the water games and stuff, but once we can start walking here without any issues at all. But and without any issues whatsoever, without any issues at all. I can walk around Pinehurst without any issues at all. And that might not really be an issue. This may be and then once the school year starts getting going, we're back to starting to come out after the school day's finished. So summer, because of the camp, we had to limit the walks. Maybe we can start getting back to staying up here longer. And definitely when I get back to Nova Scotia, from Nova Scotia, I'm gonna be here a lot more. Yeah. Well, what? Yeah. I didn't I didn't think you were gonna. I didn't see you here. Yeah, wow. Well, yeah, yeah, but this year's in particularly bad. This was not. We had a lot. Yeah, we had a lot over the year, but we had, I think, uh, but in 2023, this is my old high school year. And what? When they decided to cut back on the Ontario back, first we thought that they were just trying to play around with me, but they were not joking. When they said that, I think they really meant it. Because and following this incident, following that, I've gotten banned. They have now said that if he doesn't show any remorse, and there might said that if he doesn't show any remorse, there might now have to be serious that further escalation. and the band be on its way, and the bands might be on their way, might be on the horizon, because this situation has been a disaster. Andrew has not been on our side at all here. But we're wondering where we've been, and where I think we could be heading if circumstances go in. I'm gonna talk to Turkey. If Turkey said you in about an hour, he has to get ready for his stream. But I'm gonna have a bit of a chat with him and say, hey, I started a little early because we have to have dinner at 6. I would love to. I started around 4, before 4 o'clock, but I haven't been told like directly to move on, but I feel like it's coming to that. I think we're getting to that point where we're no longer seeing, because I kind of stopped having the casuals here, because I think they finally made the decision that we're not going to have casuals up here anymore. But when the office staff gets back, I think I would feel more comfortable in being up here, because if there are not campers up here, then I would feel a lot more comfortable in terms of staying up here, as far as staying up here, longer, and because we're not seeing, as I'm going off the Pine Road more and more often, but I might not be going, but most of the seasons, the Toronto Maple Leafs, we're 6 months away. We're only like, the halfway point is January. We're in July now. So we are definitely well into the off season, and I think we're technically into the leading period into the season, because by the time we get to September is when I think the season really gets started. I think the actual season begins October, but the season I think really starts ramping up after Labor Day. It's when we start to see sport training camps start to open stuff, and then we start to talk about where everybody's going to finish in the standings, where expectations are going into this upcoming year. I think the expectations for a lot of teams are going to be quite a bit different compared to years past. But I think there's a good chance the New York Rangers does not make the bounce back. I think they're just not as good as they were. So I'm going to say they finish lower in the standings than we did last year. Similar to last year where I said 5th. I might go further down than that. I might even get to like 8th. I could see 8th for New York. But I think in the event that we don't see a bounce back, and if we don't see a bounce back, and we don't see the bounce back that we're thinking, I think they do look like they have like a really slow start, and if it looks like they're going to miss the playoffs, and there are now going to be talks like maybe this might be turning from a retool to a rebuild, and it's not that they're likely looking at not, and we think we should be just finally go into a rebuild, but they're in a retool right now. As of right now, they're in a retool, but they might be starting to have some discussions, but if they miss again after last season's bust, it makes me kind of wonder how far would they go. Is how far if with Beliefs season and whoever with the Rangers maybe playoff has to be contenders. Whoa, if are they going to make are they going to consider a rebuild at this point? And we can pose the question: with the New York Rangers how to be playoff and with their core players getting old, do you think a rebuild is the likely direction to go? And start getting more younger and start to maybe go more young. Because I'm starting to think that that Montreal might be looking at, I think they're looking at going all young. I think they're looking at getting younger as far as people. But I think my opinion has kind of changed with the New York Rangers. But now, a year later, that I think you get into the playoffs. I don't think they're going to be a really serious playoff team. Basically, there's no pressure with the team. So I think if the team doesn't have a great year, usually the pressure usually comes off. I think it felt like with Boston in the series against Boston, then all that pressure came off. I think it was like 23-24 because they finished third. All the pressure comes off, actually. You're starting on the road, all that pressure, I think, comes off. Basically, the pressure usually comes off. All that pressure comes off, and I think we usually just accept. But I think they're trying to get back into the playoffs, but the option, I think the other option, the second option would be to just rebuild and not even get back into the playoffs. Basically, I don't know if this will be either the rebuild or they're starting the rebuild. We think that the 2030 time period might be a time where we're just going to have to maybe accept that. I think my expectations for the New York Rangers at this stage yeah. But I think we could all agree that they're probably going to be neutral to negatively negative as far as metrics says. I no longer think that the New York Rangers are a playoff team, really, anymore. I think just given how old this core is, and because of this aging core, and with the problem with this aging core, and because of that rush rebuild they've had, it's a bad combination, and it makes me kind of think the Toronto Maple Leafs and the New York Rangers are probably going to be. They maybe went from, and maybe and now potentially looking like they're going to probably be going into a rebuild, a full rebuild, starting maybe 20. I think if they miss the playoffs the next 2 years, then yeah, we might be looking at this New York Rangers doing a lot differently now. I think it's after last season. I think the pressure is probably not going to be there compared to 2022, compared to 2024. So I think all the pressure at this point might be off. If they do get into the playoffs, I don't think that there's going to be any pressure with this. There simply may not be. There will be no pressure. I mean, I don't think. And by the way, I think if they got in, nobody would have been picking them I know even how Montreal was, I think we're kind of trending for a situation where, if that's true, I don't think we might be approaching this season. I think I'm placing the New York Rangers out of the playoffs again. So you kind of given up? I think if I'm just saying that it might happen, but like I don't think it's going to. But the most likely scenario, if things go off to a bad start and it looks like they're going to miss the playoff, and it looks like if their season winds up even maybe even worse than last year, and it looks like they're gonna finish lower in the Metro, I think eighth is the most likely scenario. Which I kind of feel like more and more. So I think at this point, if they have a nightmare season and they finish lower in the standings, as we're teaming NHL, some of us are probably trending in that direction, but the most likely scenario, I think I see is that they're gonna finish in sixth, most likely. So I'm gonna say eighth. Maybe in the worst case scenario. I mean, under all scenarios, they might even that point. I'm gonna say fifth in the division maybe at most, or fourth at most. Maybe trying to get into the playoffs, but the Metro division. If we don't see a really big bounce back on any of the lower seeds, I think we just have to finally accept that maybe we're not really seeing that many teams in the Metro. Yeah. But during the COVID seasons, especially 2020-21 and the 1920 season, this might be a really signaling trend to us that we don't see a bounce back from the New York Rangers next year. People might be starting to look at this, say this team might actually need a rebuild. I don't think they're going to bounce back. And I don't think it's likely to be this year. So if we don't see a bounce back, either this upcoming season or the one after that, then I think most likely Panarin and Zibanejad and maybe Mika Zibanejad and Anthony Trocheck could be gone. So I think I'm figuring that this team might actually be, we could actually see a true indeed rebuild coming out from the New York Rangers, being that they're probably not going to be a playoff team for potentially quite some time. So, and it might continue to be the case for quite some time. We don't know for certain. And I do have this question. Can the New York Rangers bounce back a bit? Can they turn back the clock a bit? End up in a playoff spot and maybe become dangerous come playoff time for the first time in 2024, which was the year they went to the conference final. Or do you think that the New York Rangers might be in the midst of a rebuild here? Or in reality, are we actually seeing the type of real signs that they have to go through at least a couple of years, but like I'm really hoping that There's a really good danger that they might wind up being one of those franchises where maybe the NHL does not keep. Maybe finally, after multiple years, teams might just fold. And I don't know how long this will go on. But I'm starting to think relocation may be the most likely, but yeah, we're in a very different era now compared to the COVID-19 pandemic. But maybe it's just not going to work. Maybe it simply just was not going to work at all with this route. So we haven't had a case like this since Brian Burke. Since Brian Burke was behind the bench, was in that PM spot. They had a few disastrous seasons, and that did not end well. I believe whoever was built, the whole Phil Hassel era, the Phil Hassel era did not end well for the Leafs. And unfortunately, in 14-15, that was when they ultimately decided to go into a rebuild and to start going to go into a rebuild and all get last in the league. But we're in a very different era now, meaning the expectations might not be there this year. So I don't see it this. In my opinion, I kind of don't see it. In my opinion, that they're going to bounce back. So I'm going to say they missed the playoffs again. And I think most likely, I think St. Louis may try to get into the playoffs again, but I think the bottom line is St. Louis are not nearly as good compared to, say, 3 years ago. So I'm going to say they do make the playoffs, but some conversations are going to be had regarding the future where everything goes from here as far as playoffs. Because as far as playoffs, like, the pressure, I'm saying all the pressure's off, but the pressure's off the New York Rangers. But, like, you just never know. Maybe they could bounce back, but I do see that maybe they could bounce back, but I don't think if we don't see a bounce back next year, there might start to be some discussions are going to be had. And if they don't make it to playoffs next year, discussions are going to be had. And there's three. But this was the worst season under Chris Drury, and this is the worst season, in my opinion, with that core. So this past season definitely killed any liking of maybe any clear. I think it's now clear they are not a serious contender, and maybe they're not a serious playoff team as they were, say, 2 years ago, say a year ago. So, say heading into 23-24. I think it's very clear that they're not a legitimate contender. We honestly thought going into this season, the New York Rangers, but I did predict them to finish fifth in the Metro. If there was a 5 in the Metro, and certain things played out, it could happen. I mean, if we start to see, and given the amount of teams we're likely to see moving around in the Atlanta Metro, I strongly believe the New York Rangers were likely that team to fall into a wild card, top 3 of their division into a wild card. But I don't think any of us envisioned the season they've had. And maybe most of us said they had a +1 goal differential, and that was mainly because of that great run that they had at the start of the year. But at the end of the day, if the New York Rangers don't bounce back next year, there's a good betting odds that there are going to be some people finally just saying, you know what, this might be the end of an era here for the New York Rangers, and I think we might be looking at a rebuild, looking at the Rangers maybe being a rebuilding franchise rather than just a contender. But we're potentially now looking at them being more of a rebuilding franchise instead of the New York Rangers being a more rebuilding franchise than a this is the worst season in my opinion, other than they are in a retool, but it could be trending. But there is that potential. It could be heading in that direction that we're just could. We'll have to see how it plays out because the next year if they look like they're going to miss the playoffs again, it might be very clear, and if they're not in contention for it, probably a rebuild is the most likely. I think the message may be clear. A rebuild would be needed. I think I'm kind of done with Pittsburgh. Maybe even thinking that they're going to bounce back, but they're starting to accumulate draft picks. I do think they're going to draft. I do think they draft first overall, but if worst case scenario, if the New York Rangers is definitely very clear after the season they've had, I don't think I necessarily see them as a threat for the Stanley Cup like it was a year ago, as it was about a year ago. So, as I was thinking about a year ago. So, pretty much, I think I'm going to take them to finish fourth, or even maybe, I don't know if I want to take them still farther down in the Atlantic, but Metro, they wind up having an even worse season, and they're out of the playoffs, say at Christmas. Say by the time we get to the end of December, some people are wondering if maybe we're not going to make it this year, and we want to have a good shot. And I think it would be very clear that a rebuild is probably going to be in the cards coming next summer, coming next year, if we do not see them turn around. And at that point, all that pressure will be off for the rest to improve, and I don't think we're going to see any improvement from them for a while. So they're not in danger of missing yet, but I think most of our expectations are taking them to finish lower in the standings than it was last year. I'm going to say they do not bounce back. I'm just going to assume that the Rangers don't bounce back. And just to plan maybe everything to at least come to the assumption that they're not going to make it this upcoming season, and potentially, I think given the way the division might be looking more like next year, it's looking more like the Rangers. I think the idea of the New York Rangers making the playoffs is probably not going to be a thing come 2024. Come 2026, but we're wondering, I'm really hoping that this does not become And they wind up not making the playoffs for a decade. I think after that, the Edmonton Oilers looked like they were going to be in contention to win the Stanley Cup in 2007. It never really it never really came to pass, and in fact, they didn't make the playoff, and they haven't for 10 years. They missed the playoffs all the way until 2017. And they, in my opinion, may have very well been the worst decade for the franchise throughout the 2010s. So they missed the playoffs a lot all through the 2010s. So we have to figure that by now that if mediocrity, but the Rangers have definitely been slipping out of playoff contention year over year. But we know that their 5-on-5 numbers were not great then. But based on a lot of their 5-on-5 metrics and stuff, it was very clear that this team was outright garbage, hard to watch, and man, if that continues into this upcoming season, I don't know if they're a bottom feeder, but like in the Metro, but it could even very well have been the worst team in the league. It could be the worst team potentially in the league, and if that's the case, and the Rangers fall into being dead last in the NHL, they're now going to be definitely talking of a rebuild maybe being like, how much longer can this go on? Because this is Muhammad. Hi, Muhammad.
Hi, Dylan.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing good.
Yeah. My mom yesterday she was at Pioneers Park.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I didn't come. Nora and Juju came yesterday.
Yeah, so where are you going? So where did you guys go? Where did your mom go?
Somewhere.
Yeah.
She dropped me off yesterday at the park.
Okay.
Yeah, you should came yesterday.
Yeah.
Rakib was there.
He was there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We talk about what we talk
Yeah.
about we talk about how before COVID was long time COVID was like remember we had to do online for
Yeah,
COVID
I
19.
remember when we had to go online.
Yeah, I just want to tell that Keith yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're only a month out from the school year.
And yeah, can you believe?
Yeah. I'm gonna be back to having to start doing walks later in the afternoon again.
Yeah. I'm not gonna be busy at school too. I'm not gonna have
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, in September. Yeah, I have to get this week. I have to get my uniform.
Yeah.
I have to get all love for school, like backpacks, binders.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
me and
we're
Kim got.
coming up.
Huh?
We're coming up to the days that we're losing daylight now early.
What?
But with the days we're starting to get the days are getting shorter now.
It is. I wake up today. It says is today's getting shorter, and I like really.
And it's gonna be dark really early. It's gonna be just it's getting darker. It's a lot more darker now in the mornings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're leaving to visit.
I'm leaving this Wednesday, August 6th.
Oh yeah. I have a gift. I have a gift for you.
Yeah?
Yeah. My birthday's on Friday. The August. Yeah, it's on Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
If you want, if you want to come and hang out with me in the mall, you should come. Cause
yeah.
I'm bringing Nora
Wait, where are you guys going to?
to Pickering,
Yeah.
Pickering Town
Are you
Center.
guys, are you guys coming up here at some point?
Maybe I don't know yet. If if you
Yeah.
come, you just let's go for like a walk. We should go play.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Uh, I don't think I've ever thought about this, that like some point, like, I think there are a lot of people are probably going to be, but you never know, like, there could be a lot more people coming on the stream eventually, and
What?
I'm still going to be live streaming a lot, but like, I'm not the live streaming, when I get back, will be August 16th will be our first walking stream, and then we're going to eventually start losing daylight in the evenings.
Mm-hmm. You should
Like,
come. You should come to Pickering Town Center
yeah,
because me and Nora are gonna go over there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, when?
This week. Oh, you're
Yeah,
leaving on Wednesday. No,
I'm leaving on Wednesday, so I might not be able to. Okay,
this Wednesday or next
I'm gonna
Wednesday.
be, yeah,
This Wednesday or the next Wednesday.
this Wednesday.
Oh, tomorrow's Tuesday. So you're leaving. Okay, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday you're leaving.
Wednesday I'm leaving, and then I'm gonna be back August 15th.
August 15th. It's my birthday this day.
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. With James being away for quite some time, like, it's becoming more obvious that this is gonna be one of the last big streams that we do. Because once we hit to like November 22nd after the Santa Claus parade, the
Oh yeah.
outdoor streams are probably gonna be done for the year. After November 22nd, like, the outdoor stream will not be as frequent in the winter time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it will be cold.
It's gonna be cold. It's gonna be snowy. I really don't like winter.
Yeah,
I hate winter. Really, really.
yeah,
I really
really,
don't like. I don't even like snow. I don't like anything.
yeah. But it will be very different. That's when it's also very dark in the winter time.
Yeah,
Early,
it is.
yeah. But it gets better as the season goes on.
Yeah. If
It
you
start,
maybe I come today and then I'm gonna bring you the gift. I'm ready to have your gift.
yeah.
Yeah. If you wanna bring me some gift, I will bring your gift. I
All
don't
right,
know.
see,
I don't. I have so
yeah,
much. I have so much school year.
yeah,
I start school the 26th.
okay, yeah,
Yes, and Nora starts the 20. All the middle schools and high schools the 26th
yeah,
of
yeah,
September. Oh my
okay.
gosh.
Well, Mohammed, it's nice that we got to talk to you again.
Nice to talk to you. I hope I see you in the park today. Maybe.
Yeah. All right, see ya.
Say hi to mom and your dad for me.
All right, bye.
Bye, Dylan.
All right, so of my friend Mohammed, but at some point we might eventually start to see. Maybe I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna keep streaming for a while and see if Tricky Nicky shows up at some point. I think we're gonna keep him on for a while longer. We're gonna have a longer discussion about things. About maybe what our plans are for years. And start thinking about planning everything. And I may not be able to do it because as easily and I think it's gonna start to come down to at our computers, but we no longer will have Windows 10 updating, and we're down to 2 months left before they finally don't continue security updates. So eventually, once that happens, we are not going to be seeing security updates on the computer after October. So keep that in mind, guys, because I don't know. At the same time, I don't know how much time that computer has, because it might fail, and Windows 11 might not work. Possibly. Yeah. But yeah. I'm really hoping that when we do that project again. But that whole situation like last March. It started with Chunky not willing to listen to us. And I finally said no, and I said no, and he said, he said, I'm not letting I'm not letting this issue slide anymore. I think that might have been the last. At this point, I honestly believe that this is the final straw. Because when we had that discussion with him, and once Andrew blocked us, it's very clear that they're sending a message. Let go of Wikipedia. And I think now people are really starting to say the same thing, that yeah, I think you have to move on, Dylan. They haven't shown interest. But we are losing daylight in the evenings now, and at some point it's going to be under 12 hours. We're not that far off from under 12 hours. Today today's day is only August 4th, so we're a long way. We are a little way away from the daylight hours being after shortage. 12 hours after shortage daylight, meaning we get less daylight at this time of the year up until about March. But it's just starting to make from there. It's gonna get darker earlier and earlier. The mornings are probably gonna be the darkest for a while. Then we switch to daylight time, everything around, it will be dark in the evenings by 2024. By November. But then we have to call back in September. Because now we have a big enough sample size to look at this saying, like, we don't think that this situation is resolving itself. I think we have to do something. This is going on for far too long. I'm wondering if Andrew's debating taking this to the foundation attention. There have been some people thinking that maybe it's time that we have no choice but to take this matter to the foundation attention and alert them that, hey, you know, this guy's causing problems. Can we please get block? Someone please block. And I think Hunty is very serious about imposing a block on us. It's 5 p.m., man. It's almost 5, and Tricky Nicky should be helping out sometime. We're going to be having a little discussion with him about things that are getting ready and here stuff. Hello, too late. How are you? But this is Pacific holiday, so it's Pacific holiday in Ontario, so I mean most of the places are not open, but I think that this will be my last outside stream we're gonna do till we get back to Nova Scotia. And then we might not be doing these as frequent in the wintertime. Maybe not as frequent. It's gonna come down to the weather and how the weather is. I might have to. I'm still doing good. Too late. You know that at some point I'm gonna be getting ready for some people to come on. And it's gonna be a half hour before Turkey shows up. I mean, no. And I've got my privileges revoked, and I have my privileges revoked. This way, the users are not willing to listen, and the users are unwilling to back off and are not willing to listen and Gavin and Hunty has made it very clear that he does not want us back. And Andrew has made it clear that he doesn't want us back. And I'm not wanting to come back, and people in the Wikipedia community isn't wanting us and doesn't want us back. So I think the people are making it very clear to us that they will start turning to the rock and anything that they can in their power. And he does realize that there are now consequences if the bands continue, but there are penalties that can come with that. Could include ban of the account and but I think Ricky might be starting to arrive. I started the stream like an hour early, so I'm gonna be heading home at some point. I actually got dinner. Well, I haven't seen Ricky in a little while. I'm gonna see if they want to talk. I'm gonna see if people want to talk with me in a bit, because I am gonna need to release the link to people to remind people that, hey, you know, Okay, Julie. I'm not gonna get lost. Because of how high of an angle we are. Because we're at a very high angle at this time of year. And we're starting to, okay, yeah, but like, okay, this is how you, yeah, because I am dropping the link to Turkey Nikki, but with the whole COVID-19 pandemic thing is just completely just becoming overblown. I've never climbed a tree in my life. Maybe I might go home. In fact, probably just go home because I think if a turkey's alive, I'm gonna see a turkey going around 5. If not, then I may very well have to cut the stream off. Anyway, we'll do a few more laps, and if the turkey doesn't go live, might be head off. What? I think I'm gonna ban the link. This turkey needs to get in. So in the event Turkey and Icky gets on the stream, like I asked him last night, he wanted to hop on at 5. And having gone this long, over an hour, he should have arrived and hop on, and we can have some discussion with him about something and have some discussion with people like Turkey and stuff. But we haven't seen Turkey, Nikki, and Turkey in quite a while, so I haven't seen Colette. The last time I seen him was back in March. And the last time I seen Turkey Nikki was back in March on our channel and over at the Beers and Cheers channel for March 6th. So I've recently started. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm not built like 2x4, but like, yeah. But I'm gonna head home in maybe a little bit. But I'm gonna head home. Yeah. We'll do one more lap, and if not, we're gonna head out. If Turkey doesn't join at 5, I'm gonna make the decision to head out and head home. Right. Have a great. Alright, see you later. Too late. Alright. I'm really. Hoping that this thing isn't crashing on me. Yeah, I'm gonna put another link in for the people who want to join on panel. I'm gonna do one more lap, see if Tricky hops on, because he did promise me 5 p.m. complete. And maybe if he isn't live, then I'll have to end it. And I'll just end it. So I'm not afraid to just end it and just head home. It's getting very close to dinner time, and I don't want to wait for. Yeah. Um. Okay. I'm really hoping Turkey Nikki. Yeah, the reason why I want to share spamming the link. Yeah. Some link going to. As a Turkey Nikki doesn't join after this lap, I'm gonna head out, start going home, and if I'm not ready, I'm ready to just simply call it. Yeah. If you can call it a day, we're gonna have dinner. Dinner and start getting ready for the trip. Yeah, I'm going home at some point too late. Wait, yeah, I'm going home at a couple minutes. It's 5, and but then this time Turkey said that he would be on. I mean, Turkey said that promised that he would join the stream. No, you're not. So what? I may actually. I don't want to kick him off the stream, but like, listen, you're gonna be rude like that. I'm gonna delete that. You know what? I need more and more like that. I'm gonna ban him. I'm removing all his comments. That's it. Yeah, I just banned him and removed him. I just banned him and he was like a troll. Okay, he was getting a little bit rough. I banned him. I banned him and I banned too late. And you know what? I banned too late. Anyway, hey, you ain't going anywhere. And I get banned him. I made it here. I'm gonna ban him. Ban him. Ban. He's banned, and he's banned. I'm banned. Uh, it's 5:04. 5:04 p.m. I told him if he doesn't join within like the next couple minutes, I might need to stream join, but if not, then we're gonna call it. We're gonna finally declare it all, and then we're gonna head home. Nah, I gotta have dinner. I gotta have dinner. Troll. I just had to ban him. Uh, and he was acting weird, and I told him to get off, but I banned him, and he was officially banned. Banned? He was officially banned. Banned. But he was banned. Was banned. Was banned. Banned? So I was officially banned. Banned. Not blocked, but banned. I banned him, and I banned him. I just said, you're gonna say that type of stuff, you're banned. I'm gonna time him out. I'm gonna ban him and make it clear. I banned him, and he said, so I banned and removed the I banned and removed him. So it's not gonna do that kind of behavior, you're gonna get banned. I made the decision that I was removing all his comments, and he is banned. I banned him, and well, I banned that troll. I banned him. You are gonna trash talk me. You will be banned. You will be banned. You are gonna trash talk me. Say stuff about me. I'm gonna ban your ban. You're banned. Banned. That's my call. And you're not saying that type of stuff about people. You are banned. Alright. We're gonna always stream. I don't think I don't think Ricky's coming, so we're gonna head home. Yeah. So we're gonna go home. So we're gonna go home. So, alright, let's go home. Yeah, I'm freaking if he was gonna come on at some point. We're gonna go. Let's sit here, let's walk home. We'll start walking home. I banned him from the comments. That does not hurt anything. And I removed and banned him. Content banned. He did at one point. And we were gonna have an hour, you were gonna come on, we were gonna talk. But unfortunately, it's after 5 minutes. He looks like he isn't gonna join. So, we're officially getting the stream over, and we're starting to make my way back home. I have to start thinking that you would be banned for, he's trying to troll me in the chat. That's what's gonna happen. Disrespect me, I'll literally ban you from the chat. Actually. Alright, I'm wondering if there are more people coming on here. I'm hoping Tricky is here. Maybe we're already starting to wind down. And I'm heading home. And I'm starting to head my way home. After walking around Pioneers, we're having a talk with Muhammad at one point. Fortunately, I had to ban somebody that was actually banned and removed. So basically, all of his threats stuff were removed. And so, by the way, guys, the whole COVID-19 pandemic, when I did the whole COVID-19 project up through point, it's been dream space. I don't ban people, it's just dream space is not Tricky Nicky, it's too late. It said with that guy that said too late. It wasn't Tricky at all, it's some troll came onto the chat and I had to remove him. Not your tutoring. It was, I'm sorry, I don't want to be too strict on people, it's just that I am strict as far as trolls. Trolls are in the chat. Strict as far as behavior like that. People are sharing it on my skin, I would honestly remove them from my chat. And I banned everybody. Maybe we should stop doing this outside of. We're not really getting the subscribers we had. I think will still stream, but I'm kind of starting to maybe rethink maybe doing a stream might not be a good idea after all. Might not, it's not making the views as we thought we were. And maybe the expectations have changed. Maybe the expectations have changed. And maybe we're not gonna maybe be doing this anymore. Maybe we won't be doing this anymore. I'm nice to people, it's just that and you're gonna say I'm very nice to people, Dream Space, but listen, I don't wanna be strict on certain people, well I already have to realize that there are situations and if people are spelling stuff and just being I know I should be nice to people, it's just that there sometimes people and I think too late was just are you going I am gonna open it to only fans only. Only people that are really friendly to me allow on the channel. If people are just causing trouble and stuff, I am putting there are strict rules that I do have in the channel as far as that. I'm yeah, fans of my channel. So yeah. And I'm kind of debating if ever the stream might be discontinued completely. Because I don't know if I'm going to be continuing these streams. And I'm honestly wondering if I might want to stop doing the outside streams. Yeah, too late. Well, Dream Space started getting a little creepy to me. He said some really creepy comments in my opinion, creepy comments. But he was talking about saying, but he started getting really creepy to me. I said, yeah. But I've recently been dealing with someone, I've recently been dealing with someone that has been trying to cause people, somebody understand real, like Dream Space, real shit, that person, yeah. I don't want to get too harsh on people, it's just that people are gonna have problems with that, then I'm fine with you. I'm fine if you guys want to stay on, but with the channel being as it is, we all have boundaries, and as the channel. What? I'm gonna end it. I got it wrong, you know what? I'm gonna end it here. I think I'm gonna end this and call it stream. I don't want to get too strict on people. Listen, I think I'm finally just this. So, yeah, I'm gonna hop out. Hope everyone has a wonderful day. All right, bye bye, everybody. I finally said I'm ending.